How's everybody doing? My name is Alan Roberts, and I thought I'd upset a whole bunch of people today. Um, no, for real though. Well, that's pretty cool. This is being broadcast on my Instagram too, so we'll see how long that lasts. But I'm doing this live because I think it's time that we have a very frank conversation about how fat shaming saves lives. And I know that throws many people who are literally probably have a donut or a piece of pizza in their hand right now into a very frenzied state. They're likely very, very, very upset about that. And I'm sorry, but you know it's true because you literally have a donut in your freaking hand on a Tuesday evening when you're going to be partying for the 4th of July this weekend. Like, that's reality. So I just wanted to go over my thoughts on why this is, because I think it's very important that people understand that, yes, I know I'm an asshole. I get it. I'm completely understanding that I am not a nice person. Most people don't see me as a nice person. And to be honest, I don't care to be seen as a nice person because I don't want to go through the systemic lying it takes to actually be what's considered a nice person in our society today. In our society today, you literally have to openly lie to people's faces to be considered a nice person, and I cannot do that. I'm just not going to. I understand that not everybody agrees with me that that's what it is, but it is systemic lying to people's faces to pretend that a morbidly obese person is perfectly fine, happy, healthy, attractive the way they are. And I know that me adding the attractive is what really bites at people most. But it's not attractive because of what it actually is. And I think people miss this all the time because people get very much in their fees. And I know I don't help it too much by, saying real things that make people mad. I know that I don't help that too much. And I know I have a sarcastic sense of humor. And I know that there is no words or phrases that are off limits for me. And that upsets a lot of people. But let me be very clear when I say this. Fat shaming saves lives and body positivity kills people. 100%. But it's not even a question, right? I know people are going to be questioning it, but it's ridiculous to do so. I will say that because it's not even an issue of it being unhealthy. Like, that's the thing. People want to pretend that we're in this weird world where people want to pretend that being morbidly obese is somehow not tragic, right? It's more than just about carrying the weight. Most of the time, these people are attached to very serious addiction. Think about how we treat other addicts in society. And I know people are going to be like, oh, what do you mean? Well, we don't have an alcoholic or heroin addict positivity movement. We don't have it where we're like golf clapping along as like, oh my God, look, as they drink their 5th bottle of vodka this week. These people are dedicated to it. It would never be monetized. It would not even be allowed to be on social media. The person would have a welfare check called on them by the time they hit day 3. If they showed up on social media and they chugged a 5th of vodka, they would likely be immediately banned for dangerous activity, and then they would likely have people check in on them to make sure that they weren't hurting themselves, which that's what that is. But we will golf clap and applaud people for eating thousands of calories. I made a video earlier today that spawned this thought process in my head about this woman. She's so big, she's eaten herself so big that she cannot move. She is in the hospital because she cannot ambulate, which is walk, for those of you that are stupid, because she's so fat. She's ordering DoorDash and Instagram to the rehabilitation center she's at to learn how to walk more in large quantities. She's eating thousands of calories. She's filming it. Society should be rejecting this. Telling this woman that there's nothing wrong with this is the problem. This woman not being told daily that you are morbidly obese, you need to fix this. This is self-harm. That is the problem right now. That is absolutely the problem we're at. Over 1 million people worldwide are wrestling with obesity. Or 1 billion. That is a huge number. But when you consider that the United States has such a disproportionately large number of obese people compared to the rest of the world. It is staggering. Staggering. It's another thing that we do in society where we look at these people and we golf clap them, and 400-pound bad bitches are walking down the runway in their bikinis, and we're pretending like that's not death walking. We're pretending like that's not cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoarthritis, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, deep vein thrombosis. It's linked, being obese is linked to more types of cancer growth than cigarettes. I want all of you to think about that. Directly inhaling a carcinogen over and over and over again is healthier than being obese, statistically. And it is an addiction. I don't know why we are applauding people's addictions. I have people tell me all the time I am mean, but the people that tell me I am mean are sitting there golf clapping as a 500-pound person eats their 12th pizza for the day and barely can move, but they slay. Like, and I know people are like, people that big, I don't say that to. Where's the cutoff? The cutoff should be when you can't see your own penis when you're a man, and when you have to move your fupa to wipe yourself when you're a girl. Like, I mean, let's be real. We wait until this gets ridiculous. We've waited to the point where we're over the tipping point. The number of fat people cannot be sustained, and these people need to take personal responsibility for the addiction that is keeping them fat. Nobody, and I mean nobody, and we have just proven this in the Ozempic age, nobody wants to be fat. Nobody wants to be. They just accept being fat. They accept that they're addicted, and society does not pressure them enough to cure their addiction. Don't tell me that it's not a settling for being fat, when if it wasn't settling for being fat, you don't need positivity movements for something that is healthy. We don't need a fitness positivity movement. We don't need a gym bro positivity movement. We don't need to be golf clapped. We're already happy with ourselves. You guys need a positivity movement because you know you're wrecking yourselves. The body positivity movement is basically what would happen if a bunch of heroin addicts got together and tried to shame anybody that tried to tell them that their track marks weren't attractive and that being bone thin with no teeth wasn't sexy. Like, that's literally what the body positivity movement has become. People need to grasp these facts. This is not speculation. This is a direct correlation. Like, morbid obesity isn't about just eating too much. It's tied to an addictive relationship with food. And it shows that highly palatable foods, thinking sugary snacks, fast foods, processed treats, can trigger a brain's reward system in the same way as drugs and alcohol. This has been shown over and over and over again in peer-reviewed, placebo-blind studies. A 2018 study in Proceedings of Nutritional Society highlights how these foods spark dopamine release, just like drugs, creating cravings and mere substance addiction. Over time, this can rewrite the brain, making it tough to say no, even when the consequences pile up. I want all of you to think about something. Cocaine is a drug, and we all know it is. It's a highly refined form of coca leaves. All the nutrients and all of the phytonutrients, all of the minerals and fiber and everything that's taken out, it's concentrated form, it's cocaine. When people ingest it or snort it or whatever, it enters their bloodstream really quickly. It causes a dopamine effect on the brain and affects how they act towards it also, because they can need more and more and more of it and still know it's bad for them, but they will still want more and more and more of it, even when it causes serious life consequences. It's addiction. Think about morbid obesity. People gain weight over a course of time, slowly losing access to mobility, to places to go, to activities you can do. Like, if you are an athlete when you're younger, or if you're not morbidly obese when you are a child, which is sadly, like, only 50% of the time now, like 50% of the children we have are obese. It's tragic. Us ignoring that this is an addiction to food is dooming these young children. They're addicted when they're like 12. 200-pound 12-year-olds are addicted to food. And you think that's going to get better? It's not going to get better. They're just going to keep getting fatter and fatter and fatter because you hooked them when they're 12. Their brains are being written as addicts. Congratulations. I mean, sugar is the addictive substance that we market to children in America, but this isn't about blaming anybody. The obesity stems from like the disruption of energy homeostasis in the system, where their body's natural level is kicked away by how the person acts. It's not like your set point, like you're in control. Your set point is literally you dealing with your cravings and shit. Like that's it. Like my set point is 100 pounds higher than now. 100 pounds? Shut up. That's ridiculousness. We need to stop pretending that it's not the person's actions, that it's not an addiction. How can we have so much mental health in America and everybody be so mentally unhealthy? To in any way think that being 100 pounds overweight and eating in a way that's going to keep you there or make you gain more weight is not some sort of addiction or mental illness is tragic. Like, how do people not understand that that is actually the mean thing? Like, the mean thing is to just keep like golf clapping these people and yelling at anybody trying to tell them the truth. Like, I understand if you want to golf clap them, fine. But it really upsets a lot of people when people like me say the truth that being morbidly obese is, in fact, a selfish burden placed upon all of society because the person refuses to control their behaviors, whether they refuse to control their addiction or they just like food too much and they're too fucking lazy to move. We need to start seeing it that way because, very frankly, that is literally what it is. A person eats themselves to the point where they have lowered mobility and they know it's bad for them. They can feel the pain. As a person that was over 100 pounds overweight from what I am right now, I can tell you, you feel pain daily. They do this to themselves. They keep getting bigger and more and more and more pain with less and less and less accessibility to like stuff like tying your shoes without passing out. Some of these people that talk about how there's nothing wrong with them have literally gotten to the point where they need an assistance device to wipe their ass because that's how big they are. And they try to pretend like this isn't addiction. Stop it. We have, as a society, we have to stop it. The health risks of morbid obesity are undeniable. Like the health risks are undeniable. Cardiovascular disease, diabetes, sleep apnea, osteoarthritis, cancer, so many more, yet alone the absolute tragic burden on the system. People that are addicted to food, drugs, drinking, and have other things are about $4 trillion worth of our spend on total healthcare burden in America. $4 trillion. $4 trillion a year. It's literally disrespectful to all of society to be morbidly obese and overconsume resources to the point where you impact food prices, you put more waste into the environment from packaging and shipping of the extra food that you are consuming greedily and selfishly in a very privileged fashion, and then you eat yourself to obesity, which then disproportionately burdens us again via our healthcare system. It is not something to be applauded. It is something that if the person is trying to fix it, we help them with everything we can. And if they are not trying to fix it, we remind them every single day that they are a burden upon us because of their selfish addiction and they can't get it under control or won't get it under control. That is what we should be doing because that is what's better for all of us and them. That's what's better for the environment. It's what's better for the actual food industry. It is what's better. It would help lower food prices. Literally, it would help lower healthcare costs insanely if we held all these people accountable to remaining healthy. If everybody was free of lifestyle-driven illness in America, because it should be seen as a personal responsibility to society to not burden us, even though you are addicted. If we would remove all lifestyle-driven chronic illness, it would likely save over $4 trillion in healthcare expenses shared amongst all of us. Tell me how it's not bad for society to be obese. Tell me how it's not bad for the person to be obese. Like, it is undeniable that it is, and yet we are not having the hard conversations. And I understand people are like, well, I don't applaud fat people. No. If you have fat people in your life, you need to be encouraging them to get their shit straight. If you know somebody that's 100 pounds overweight, you know they have a problem with food, and you know that's what's going to kill them. And if you are actually a friend of theirs, you'll do something about it. If one of your family members is 100 pounds overweight and isn't trying to change at all, if you love that person, you will try to help them and do something about it. You know it's what's going to kill them. You know it is impacting their life negatively. You know what it stems from. You know they can't stop eating food. Nobody knows a person. I don't ever hear like, I know this girl. She's 400 pounds and all she eats is 1,200 calories. No, we hear the person saying, I eat 1,200 calories and I can't lose weight because they're delusional. Notice how there's never any witnesses to this. So the kind path is recognizing and fighting the addiction. Like, it starts with honesty. Encouraging morbidly obese individuals to recognize their food addiction and commit to recovery isn't harsh. That's compassionate. They need to commit to recovery if we as society are going to support them. If you are going to be morbidly obese in society and not try, why should we support you in any way? You are openly disrespecting society in a very greedy fashion by overconsuming our resources and not caring how it impacts anybody else. It is logic. I understand that this goes against many of the whole woke ideology BS that we have been going on for the last 6 to 8 years, but you cannot deny in a real world where the sky is blue and the sun is yellow. I'm not talking about the purple sky world that a lot of you guys live in that has a rainbow and a unicorn dancing across it, that shit not glitter. I'm not talking about that world. I'm talking about the real world where being morbidly obese is in fact bad for you and is in fact your choice and is in fact your responsibility to fix. And it is the result of you most likely having some sort of food addiction or very seriously disordered relationship with food. If you are 75 pounds overweight and you have stayed that way, even though you've tried to lose weight and just bounce back up, you have a problem with food. You should accept that, and there should be nothing more important in your life than fixing it, because if you don't fix it, you are shortening your life. You are not only shortening your life chronologically, the quality of your life is massively, massively reduced. Ask yourself this. If you are 30 years old and you just had a child and you are 100 pounds overweight and you just had your first child, how are you going to be if you don't take care of your food addiction when you're 48? When that child is 18, how are you going to be? Are you even still going to be here? Because if you're 100 pounds overweight, just to let you know, statistically speaking, and this is not fat shaming because this is actual reality, statistically speaking, if you are 100 pounds overweight when you are 30, 48, it's kind of a crapshoot, especially if you've been morbidly obese the majority of your life up to 30. The duration of being obese is, in fact, a very, very, very big problem. In history, we've had people get fat when they were like 50, 55. They retire and they put on some extra weight because their activity goes down, right? And then the people that get fat in retirement, when they retire when they're 55, 60, by 70, they're dead because they get fat and their body can't take it. But that's why you don't see old fat people. But people that have been morbidly obese from the age of 12 because their parents put Mountain Dew in their sippy cup, they're lucky to live to 50. Statistically, it's not even deniable. So if you do know fat people in your life, you should try very hard to help them fix that. But if you are the 30-year-old fat person, it's highly unlikely you're going to see your child become an adult, let alone graduate high school, go to college or get a job, get married and have their own children. And you're definitely not going to see adult grandchildren. I mean, you think you're going to make it like to 70 when you're already 100 pounds overweight? And the statistical likelihood of you gaining anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds a year every single year because you're a food addict that's not addressing their problem is massively high. And by the time you hit 40 years old, you're likely going to be 350 to 400 pounds. And the time you hit 50 years old, you're likely to be somewhere around 375 to 450 pounds or dead. Reality exists, The cruel lie is that it's not a problem. Time to tackle the elephant in the room. Why not elephant, right? Perfect analogy. Some argue that calling out morbid obesity or linking it to addiction shames people. They should be ashamed of it. It's not something they should be proud of. It's not something they should be even neutral on. Like, I'm ashamed of how I had such a hard. I'm ashamed that I'm addicted. My binge trigger is peanut M&Ms. For those of you that don't know, for those of you that are new here, I've talked about it many, many times because I'm a binge eater. I have an eating disorder myself. That's why I was 100 and some pounds heavier than I am now. But my binge trigger is peanut M&Ms. I get messed up when I'm even around them. There's a problem, right, with me. I mean, many, but that's just one of them. But I don't put myself in that situation because if I eat peanut M&Ms, I end up eating everything else in the house, and that will kill me eventually, right? Like, it's not something I should be proud of. I am ashamed of that, rightfully so. I'm ashamed that if I eat peanut M&Ms, I won't be able to control myself. That is a shameful action. That is not something that I should be proud of or even neutral about, because the shame stops me from fucking eating it. You understand that, right? The shame stopped me from eating the peanut M&Ms that would then make me binge and eat everything else in the rest of my house and likely kill me in years. Get there faster, people. Like, the shame is what they should feel, so they change their behaviors. I know this is so hard, and many of you can't stand the thought of, oh my God, what if they don't want to change their behaviors? Too bad. Society should ask these people to commit to being a fruitful member of society that is committed to not overburdening us, or we should not support them. We definitely shouldn't be coddling them. I mean, if they're going to get there, if we are going to still have shared healthcare expenditure, they at least need to participate in trying to be healthy. I mean, I talked about the video, the woman earlier, 550 pounds getting pizzas delivered to her rehabilitation center is not her participating in her health. So I was honest, and it upset her. And you know what I think about that? I don't care. I hope it upsets her really, really bad. I hope it upsets her enough that she will change. And if not, I tried. And I know the answer is going to be like, well, you upset her. What if it makes it worse? She's 550 pounds, laying in bed, can't move from eating. What's worse? She passes away. That could happen. That could have happened just now. It could have happened just now. It could have happened just now. She's 550 pounds, so fat she can't ambulate. She can't get out of bed. She could be dead in a second. A fat person that can't ambulate, by the way, is at massive risk for like stroke, blood clots, deep vein thrombosis, like so much. It's insane, you know? But here's the reality. Telling people that it's no big deal or they're beautiful just the way they are, it sounds nice. But if you dig deeper, it's really a cruel lie. And most of the time, very selfish, because the person wants to seem like a nice person. They'll lie to a person's face. Like, because you've got to be, I try to give even very stupid people more credit for thinking that morbid obesity is actually not a health problem, because we actually visually can see these people be physically encumbered and barely able to walk and waddle up steps and not able to do stuff, right? So I try to give people, even very, very stupid people, the benefit of the doubt that they deep down know that being morbidly obese is not healthy for the person. That means you're just lying to their face. That's about something as dangerous as their addiction. Like, you're basically walking up to a heroin addict and being like, don't listen to anybody. Your track marks are beautiful. And who cares if you have no teeth? And oh yeah, by the way, just you do you, track arm sensitivity bullshit. You're fine the way you are. That's cruel. It's like buying an alcoholic a shot. Like, you know the guy's an alcoholic and you buy him a shot. That's what you do when you bring home pizza to your fat friend. It's, you know they're an alcoholic and you buy them a shot. Stop it. Like, you know it's true. Like, you know it's true. You may be in denial watching me say it right now, but you know deep down that's true. That if you have a friend that's 150 pounds overweight and you bring him over a pizza, you're basically bringing a needle and some heroin over to a heroin addict. Congratulations. You're a horrible fucking person. Telling somebody their food addiction or its the physical fallout, they're ballooning weight, their body changing, everything like that, telling them that it's no big problem, it's horrible. These people gasp for breath at night. Does everybody understand that? Like, morbidly obese people normally have to have, like, anybody that has a neck over 16 inches on average has obstructive sleep apnea, right here, not the actual traps and stuff like that. If they're fat, by the way, it's not not muscle. Like if you're fat and your neck is more than 6 inches, statistically speaking, you likely have sleep apnea. But these people have no necks. Like these people have no necks. Like, to pretend that these people don't stop breathing multiple times a night from what has happened to them due to their addiction and their gluttony is wild to me. Like, you people realize that they stop breathing multiple times a night, and you're telling them that they're just fine. How is that kind? Like, I'm sorry. Like, you can appear kind because you're telling them what they want to hear, but kindness is telling people what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. Get there faster. So I just wanted to go over all of that, like how we're in this all together. Society is a collective, especially in America, because even though we are supposed to be a constitutional republic, we have a lot of socialism, and our shared healthcare expenditure is wildly insane. Last year it was $4.5 trillion. 2025 is estimated to be $5.3 trillion. It goes up about 15% a year. So we're looking at somewhere being around $6 trillion in 2026 if we do not right the ship. Just so you know, $6 trillion means we'll be borrowing about another, $1.5 trillion on the debt too. For a country that is $37 trillion in debt almost, spending an extra $4 trillion a year on people that refuse to take care of themselves in our society, I don't believe that is what our country needs, right? So if for no other reason than, you care about the country you live in, tell your fat friends to start losing weight. Tell them you'll be there for them. Tell them you'll help them. Tell them this angry bald guy that gives out free advice every day and has written a couple best-selling weight loss books. Tell all of them that you're not trying to be mean, but you're no longer going to ignore that they have a problem with food and you're worried it's going to kill them. If you really care for a person, you'll have some sort of conversation like that with them. And I will tell all of you this right now. That sounds very similar to the conversation my wife had with me once I hit like 300 plus pounds and I was starting to have trouble getting up a flight of stairs. She had a very blunt conversation with me, and it said, I'm not trying to be mean to you, but don't you want to spend a long life with me, because you are not going to if you keep this up, and you are showing our son bad habits. And I changed that day. Shaming works. She told me the blunt, honest truth, and that would be considered shaming by a lot of you. But the blunt, honest truth is what I needed to hear, because I do want to spend a long life with her. And I do want to show my son good habits. And I do want to show all of you good habits. So therefore, I'm happy that she told me the truth. And you should be happy to tell your friends the truth. If you know your friends have a trouble with their weight, ask them what you can do about it. Because if you don't think that's the thing that's going to kill them, you're likely very wrong. And that's true. My name is Alan Roberts. This was Evening Rants. I hope you all have a fabulous evening. I'll be back on tomorrow for my normal thing. I hope all of you have a great, great, great evening. Goddamn.